Yo, tapping in real quick for this UFC 309 that's fitting to go down in Madison Square Garden, where that main event is a showdown in that heavyweight division. I'm talking about a highly anticipated, long time in the making heavyweight clash between two of the greatest. Questions will be answered. You understand what I'm saying to you? This video right here, this is the full card breakdown and predictions. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in. I will do my absolute best as not to hold y'all ear hostage for too long. But with that being said, you already know how that goes, man. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Not necessarily sure what that lineup's going to be come fight night, but this is the lineup I have in front of me. So this is the lineup that we're going to rock with. You know what I'm talking about? And let's dive into it, man. First fight of the night, as of right now, is a late replacement, new addition, call it what you want. It is the only fight that I was not privy to a money line, excuse me, on as of yet. There is not one available that I have been able to find. It is Marcin Tybura versus Janata, Denise. And listen, heavyweight MMA as of right now, first fight of the night. That's two boxes checked in the complete pass section. You mix that with the question marks on both sides because yes, Denise should be able to come in here and clip and disconnect Marcin Tybura from his consciousness inside the distance for the victory via KO, TKO, or keep the fight upright and do the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes, possibly hurting Marcin multiple times over the course of 15 minutes. But there's also the question that what if Marcin comes in here like he has before, like he did against Tai Tuivasa, when the threat on the other side was evident, and he just takes him straight to the ground. Janata is proving that he can get taken straight to the ground and relatively easily controlled on the ground. With that being said, Marcin Tybura is not these other individuals that have taken Janata Denise down to the ground. He will aggressively search for that submission. He will most likely find that submission, sink it in, lock it up, and get him out of there inside the distance, handing him not only his first loss, but his first loss inside the distance via submission. I mean, it's questions all over this motherfucking fight, man. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to rock with Denise. Janata Denise is going to be the pick. You understand what I'm saying to you? These picks are already on my community wall for what it's worth. If nobody wants to sit through all this and hear the extra shit and you just want to know what the pick is, quick picks ain't up. None of that shit's up yet. But all these picks have been posted on the community wall once. And then again, when I got the, I was privy to all the money lines. They've been posted with all the money lines as well. If you don't want to sit through this and you just want the picks, that's where they're at. Janata Denise is going to be the pick for what it's worth. But listen, I can see this motherfucking fight going just like I told you, man. I can see Denise possibly keeping this fight upright, stuffing the incoming takedowns, or maybe he stays safe on the ground if he gets taken down and he's able to find his way back up and produce the better body work over the course of 15 minutes if it goes the distance. I could see him clipping and disconnecting Marcin Tybura from his consciousness inside the distance. It has happened before. But I can also see Tybura winning a greasy, just messy, drug out, unanimous split or majority decision in his own right if he gets the takedowns but is unable to find the finish while searching for the submission, but does put him in a couple compromisable positions and edges him out on the cards with the control time and the compromisable positions that he's able to put him in. Or I could see him just getting him down to the ground, much like he did to Tai Tuivasa, aggressively searching for that submission, finding that submission and getting him out of there inside the distance via submission and just not playing around with this young man on the feet to leave the openings or the opportunities for him to get clipped and disconnected from his consciousness. You understand what I'm saying to you? The end of Marcin Tybura is solid. Solid. You know, he's a bit on the older side now. He's creeping out of his prime. His best days are, you know, probably behind him. Maybe very much so far behind him. But he has proven to be a very legitimate level of opposition in this division for as long as he's been here. And the individuals, for the most part, to get him out of here are top tier, man. You know what I'm talking about? Sergey took him right down to the ground and locked up that submission. I kind of thought that if it was going to go that way, you know, I don't know, that's just how the polar bear did, you know, Marcin Tybura, man. You know what I'm talking about? I could see Marcin Tybura doing Janata like that. I can see this fight ending in so many different ways, man. It's so many reasons to leave this motherfucker alone, man. You know what I'm talking about? And if you do mess with it, you have to apply the swap out option. And it must only be for a prelim haymaker, Hail Mary, trying to sweep the whole early prelims, possibly one Hail Mary for the whole card or something. But leave this fucking fight alone. Unless you know something that I don't and you are highly confident on one side or the other, leave this fucking fight alone. Janata's the pick, but that's for what it's worth. You know what I'm talking about? Now, we have some money lines we can talk about. We have Veronica. She's currently at minus 158, favorite on the money line to Eduardas, plus 124, dog tag. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm on the side of Veronica Hardy to be the one to get this one done via unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe a finish presents itself inside the distance and she's able to capitalize on that. But I don't personally see that happening. I just see her producing the better all-around body of work over the course of 15 minutes to edge Eduarda out for the decision. Whether it's unanimous, whether it's majority, or whether it's split, I'm rocking with Veronica Hardy to be the one to get it done. You know what I'm talking about? But it is women's MMA, and there are questions on this fight. Let's not get it fucked up, because while Veronica has looked quite well in her resurgence, you understand what I'm saying to you, she has done so against who she has done so against. Same can be said about Eduarda. It's going to be a good fight, in my personal opinion. It's going to be very competitive, possibly highly competitive and closely contested. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of reasons to leave this one alone, too. Veronica is the pick, though. And capping off the early prelims, again, this might not necessarily be how the lineup is come fight night, but it's the one we're rocking with today. And there's 3 fights on the early prelims, at least the way I did it. You know what I'm talking about? I broke down the prelims and the early prelims on my own on Tapology. I just looked at the prelims and said, we got all them fights. All right, we're going to put 3 of them down here and put the rest of them up here. And then the main card already is what it is. So this is my early prelims. You know what I'm talking about? But it's David Onama versus Lucas Almeida. David, sizable favorite. Minus 295 on the money line. Lucas, sizable underdog. Price tag next to him is plus, dog tag next to him is plus 220. And I'm on David, man. I'm on David Onama to be the one to get this one done. Again, he's another one I feel like, you know, the prior fight, a bit more confidence though. But much like I feel like, you know, said about the prior fight, man, I feel like he's just going to be able to produce the better all-around body of work absolutely everywhere over the course of 15 minutes to edge Lucas out to a unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1. Maybe it's 3 rounds to none. And maybe the finish presents itself inside the distance. And I'm not sleeping on Lucas in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I've been on the right side of Lucas Almeida's picks when he was the dog. You know what I'm talking about? And so on and so forth, man. And I feel like I'm going to be on the right side of this pick, too. I'm taking David Onama to do what he do. I feel like it's a bad stylistic matchup for Lucas Almeida. And while Lucas Almeida is solid, he is well-rounded, and he's nobody's chump stop, he's losing this one to David Onama. I don't know that David Onama would justify the price tag at minus 295. I'd like to think that he would be able to do so, you know, by hurting Lucas a couple times over the course of 15 minutes, possibly putting him in a couple compromisable positions if they find themselves, you know, entangled. But he may or may not justify that price tag. And I know that price tag is going to get even more significant because he's going to get parlayed up. So that's just the price tag next to his name right now. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. For the early prelims, Janata's the pick over Marcin for what it's worth. Veronica's the pick over Eduarda. And David's the pick over Lucas. And all three, well, I know David and Veronica are favorites. I do not know the money line on Janata and Marcin. I can imagine that it's going to be something similar to what Janata and Derek was, with Janata being a favorite. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it's very possible that I have 3 favorites for the early prelims. Moving on up, man. Off the early prelims and onto the prelims, the way I put them together anyway. We have Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott taking on the bull Basil, man. And this is a fucked up one for me. Not so much it's hard for me to pick which side to be on, just because I like, not high on Basil, you know what I mean? But he fucks with the homies, you know what I'm talking about? And, he's solid. He's well-rounded. He's proven that he can be dangerous up against the individuals. He's proven that he can be dangerous again. Oban Elliott, in my personal opinion, a bit more solid, a bit more well-rounded, you know what I'm talking about, as an all-around mixed martial artist, and a bit more dangerous too, in my personal opinion. I like Oban, man. I like Basil for what it's worth, man. But I'm a bit higher on the Oban side, and I'm a bit, upset we're not getting Oban at another dog tag, because I believe I had him at a dog tag last time. He was on the card. He was a slight dog, and we was on that. He's not the dog in this case, and rightfully so. The money line looks legit in this one, in my personal opinion. Oban's the pick, though. Now, this shit show, at least from one side anyway, with all due respect to whoever may be on the side of Mickey Gall, I'm just not one of those guys at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You can give me Ramiz to go ahead and just get him out of there in some way, shape, form, or fashion. He's going to win this one. In my personal opinion, he's going to win. I don't want anything to do with this fight, you know what I'm talking about? But I am fairly confident that Ramiz does win this fight. Why it's so closely lined, I'm not necessarily sure. Maybe somebody knows something I don't know, or somebody's I'm seeing something that I've never seen. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, I just don't know, man. I don't know. I am not high on either side. Let's get that out the way. But I mean, Ramiz is okay. You know what I mean? He's okay. You know what I mean? Like, he's okay. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think Mickey Gale is okay anywhere, man. You know what I'm talking about? Miss me with that shit. Would he do his best work against Sage fucking Northcutt back in the day? And who the fuck is a Sage Northcutt? Sage Northcutt went on, much like a Greg Hardy, to get knocked the fuck out and fucked up just about every other place he went on to afterwards, man. Like, who the fuck is a Sage Northcutt? A Super Sage Northcutt? Or say, man, like a fucking GQ model or something. He had the pretty boy face and, oh, man, come on, man. He did his best work on him and the CM Punk guy or something like that. Like, Mickey Gall is not that guy, man. You know what I'm saying? And listen, Ramiz is not that guy either. And, my baby, I talked about it, I believe, on the live one time when we was talking about some shit. I talked about how I think it was Max, you know what I mean? Griffin, I think it was Max Payne. You know what I'm talking about? That put that pain on Ramiz's motherfucking ear, you know what I mean? Hit him with that motherfucking elbow and busted him the fuck open type shit. Had that motherfucking thing hanging. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Mickey's not Max. Mickey's not fitting to get in there and detach this motherfucker's ear again. And I think Ramiz is just going to go in there, and if he doesn't find the finish, if the finish does not present itself inside the distance, he's going to... my mouth just wants to keep saying relatively easily find his way to a decision. So that's just how I'm going to keep it. It is what it is. Moving on. My first dog, man. This is my first dog. We have Jim Miller taking on Damon Jackson, and Jim Miller is currently a plus 108 underdog on the money line against Damon Jackson, who's currently a minus 138 favorite. You know what I'm talking about? And you can miss me with that shit. Give me Jim Miller, man. Give me Jim Miller at plus 108. And give me Jim Miller to get this one done, possibly inside the distance in some way, shape, form, or fashion, man. He might clip him and hop on him for a club and sub type situation. He might just clip him, crack him, and disconnect him from his consciousness inside the distance, man. Damon can crack. Damon has a bit of pop in his shots. But listen, both of these individuals' best days are behind them. Let's get that out the motherfucking way. You know what I'm talking about? But with that being said, man, I just like Jimmy a bit. You know, I like Jimmy a bit more, man. I know motherfuckers might be down on him based off of that, you know, Bobby King Green performance and what happened and all that. But Damon Jackson is not Bobby King Green. Damon Jackson in no way, shape, form, or fashion is going to be able to go out there and implement what Bobby Green did. Damon Jackson is just an individual who possesses a bit of pop in his shots, mostly in his counter shots. You know what I'm talking about? And, you know, he's fairly well-rounded, solid, but just give me Jimmy in this one, man. Give me Jimmy in this one. For what it's worth in this fight, it should be a good fight, but give me Jimmy at plus 108. And then here's my even money, man. And I personally believe Marcus is going to creep up to be a significant favorite come fight week and fight night. You know what I'm talking about? Probably priced around 2 something. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, you know, Martinez finds his way to a significant favorite, or at least some type of a favorite, putting a dog tag on Marcus's name, man. Because I'll take that. Marcus is dangerous. And Martinez gets hit. And I'm talking about he gets hit. He's vulnerable on the feet. He's vulnerable absolutely everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? He can be caught, clipped, and disconnected from his consciousness on the feet in the striking department. You know what I'm talking about? And he can be submitted and gotten up out of there inside the distance via submission. You catch him slipping, putting him in compromisable positions. And Marcus, man, just he's a bit too dangerous, in my personal opinion, for Jonathan Martinez, man. But again, that's just my personal opinion, and we're going to have to see how this one plays out. Jonathan is minus 113, the Marcus is minus 113. They are even pick 'em right now, and I'm on the side of Marcus, man. I'm on the side of Marcus to be the one to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether that's motherfucking catching, clipping, and disconnecting Jonathan from his consciousness, catching, clipping, hopping on him for the club and sub-type situation, you know, putting him, you know, securing the takedown, putting him in a compromisable position and finding that submission, sinking it in, locking it up, and getting him out of there inside the distance via submission, or from top position, silverback shit, ground and pound. You know what I'm talking about for the KO, TKO inside the distance, man. But give me Marcus, man. And give me Marcus at minus 113. I've already put a couple parlays in for this card on the app for the whole entire month, for, you know, for which ones the Janata fight wasn't offered. You know what I'm talking about? But for the fights that are offered, man, I've already put long parlays in for this, short parlays in for this, what I believe to be prelim and main card parlays, as long as nothing switches up. I'm pretty confident, man. And just about every last one of these motherfucking picks for this card coming up. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm talking about? Marcus is the pick. Ruffy, minus 850 on the money line. Currently the biggest favorite. A bigger favorite than John Jones. You understand what I'm saying to you? And he's taking on James, man. James is a plus 500 underdog. And it's not a whole lot to talk about in this one, in my personal opinion, man. Ruffy's just a bit too fucking dangerous absolutely everywhere. And James is just a bit too fucking vulnerable absolutely everywhere. That's that with that. Ruffy's getting him out of here inside the distance via KO, TKO, or submission, in my personal opinion. If it goes to full distance, he will hurt him multiple times over the course of 15 minutes and put him in multiple compromisable positions on the feet or on the mat. wherever this thing takes place at. Again, this is all just my personal opinion. Moving on, man. Capping off the prelims, Nikita, minus 188 favorite versus Azamat, my plus 146 underdog. He's got a dog tag next to his name, y'all. I know that's going to intrigue a lot of motherfuckers, man. Not me, though. He can keep that dog tag over there, man. I hope motherfuckers jump all over him, dog of the week type shit, and push Nikita into a dog tag, man. Because I'm all over Nikita already at minus 188. I'll take it. I'll take the physical attributes that he possesses. I'll take the experience, not just the experience, but the experience of, you know, fighting at a higher level of opposition, not just fighting and competing, but also beating a higher level of opposition. Nikita, you know, very solid, man. Very well-rounded. Has proven to be very dangerous up against a very legitimate level of opposition. You understand what I'm saying to you? And Azamat, while he has proven to be dangerous, who he has proven to be dangerous against, this is a test, man. You know what I mean? That bulldog shit ain't gonna work all the time. You know, that O's gonna go. It's inevitable. It's just about when will that O go and who's gonna take it from him. You know what I'm talking about? And is Nikita the guy to do it, man? You know what I mean? And I personally believe he is. So give me Nikita, Krylov, however you say it, at minus 188 to cap off the prelims and hand Azamat his first ever loss, and possibly his first ever loss inside the distance via submission or via getting, you know, caught, clipped, and disconnected in his own right, man. Nikita will use your aggression and your momentum very much against you, man. He is crafty. His IQ is sharp. He's smart. He's nobody's chump stop. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I like Nikita in this matchup, man. So for the early prelims and the prelims, for what it's worth, I think I'm only on one dog, man. One dog and one even money play for the early prelims. If I'm not mistaken, let's run over it, man. Janata's the pick for what it's worth over Marcin. Veronica's a favorite over Eduarda, and David's a favorite over Lucas. That's the early prelims. On the prelims, Oban's a slight favorite over Bazel, and Ramiz over Mickey's a slight favorite. It's pretty much a pick'em, but he's a slight favorite. Jim, he's a dog over Damon. Jonathan and Marcus, that's the pick'em. I'm on Marcus. Ruffy's the heaviest favorite on the card over James. Nikita's a favorite over Azamat. So yeah, we got all favorites, one dog and one even pick'em on these prelims, man. Let's kick off this main card with a dog. You know what I'm talking about? Chris Weidman at plus 144 against Eric Anders, man, at minus 186 currently, a favorite on the money line. And it is what it is, understandably so, if nobody's really high on Chris right now. But how can you really be that high on the Eric side of things either? You understand what I'm saying to you? While Eric has been a staple and been a mid-level individual in this division for this promotion for quite some time now, you know what I'm talking about? He very much so, for the most part, beats who he's supposed to beat, loses who he's supposed to lose to, man. And when we talk about 2024 and this point in both of these young men's lives and careers, in and outside of the UFC octagon, give me the dog tag, man. Give me Chris Weidman at plus 144 to go in here and secure a unanimous decision, man. A unanimous decision. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this thing found its way down to the mat and Chris found a finish via submission, rear naked choke, flattening Eric out. But give me Chris, man, with a dog tag at plus 144 to kick off the main card over Eric Anders, who, like I said, man, you know, he's solid. He's well-rounded. You know what I'm talking about? He's been around for a minute, but he beats who he's supposed to beat and loses who he's supposed to lose to. never beat the kind of individuals that Chris has been able to beat. Chris's best days are behind him, but so are Eric's. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it's just about on an off day, who would you rock with? And I would still rock with Chris in this matchup. So give me Chris at plus 144 over motherfucking Eric. Bo versus Paul. Miss me with this shit. He's minus 1,000. He's going to be like minus 2,500 come fucking fight night, which is fucking ridiculous. He's obviously the pick. Bo Nickel's the pick. And Bo Nickel's the pick. We're going to mess with this money line and make Bo Nickel the pick via KO TKO. He's going to clip and disconnect Paul from his consciousness. He's not going to follow Paul down to the mat like Magomed Ankalaev did. He's not going to do the dumb shit. Find himself entangled with this young man like, you know, Jamal Hill did, right? When that Jamal Hill that got his motherfucking... Who the fuck was it that got their motherfucking arm? It was Jamal who got their arm snapped and was in there just still beating on him all fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Don't find yourself entangled with this motherfucker, man. Clip him, rock him, drop him, chop at his legs a couple times and make him get up. Clip him, rock him, drop him. You know what I'm talking about? And just continue the fucking trend until he just does not get up anymore. You know what I'm talking about? But don't follow him down and think you're going to be safe on the ground because you've been solid in the wrestling department. He is not a motherfucking wrestler, and he is not going to attempt to wrestle you. You understand what I'm saying to you? Do not find yourself entangled with this young man or following him to the ground, or you will be suffering a loss. Your first loss. And it'll be your first loss inside the distance via submission, much like a Magomed Ankalaev, and just fuck your whole record up for absolutely no reason in a fight you was winning. You know what I'm talking about? Don't do it to yourself, Bo. Don't try to prove a point, boy. Moving on, man. Kareim versus Vivian. Kareem's a sizable favorite, minus 295 on the money line. Vivian's a plus 220 underdog. Kareem's the pick, man. Kareim is the pick to produce the better all-around body of work over the course of 15 minutes, absolutely everywhere, to edge her out for a split decision. Split decision. I'm going to say that she wins it, but she doesn't justify the price tag. And now that I said that, she's probably going to lock up the submission in the first round and justify the fuck out of the price tag and some. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? And, Kareem's the pick, man. Charles Oliveira, my bad. I'm looking at this motherfucking clock. And, I never set my watch back. I never set my motherfucking watch. I'm looking at this motherfucker like, man, I'm supposed to be somewhere. No. If I ain't been here that motherfucking long, then I'm looking up at the motherfucking timer running. And I know better. I never spun my watch back the other day. You know what I mean? I hopped in the motherfucking whip and I had to readjust that. The phone was right, but the whip wasn't right. I readjusted that. I never readjusted the wrist, though. I got to readjust the watches, man. You know what I'm talking about? Corinne's the pick, though, man. She might possibly find a finish inside the distance via submission. Is very, very, very likely. You know what I'm talking about? But I like her to get it done. Either which way you look at it. Charles versus Michael. Come on, man. Michael Chandler's just not that guy, and this just isn't Bellator. You know what I'm talking about? That's that with that. Charles is the pick. I don't like talking a whole lot on that shit, man. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. If Mike wanted to try to do something, he should have tried to find his way over here a lot longer ago, because he came over here and his best days were behind him, in my personal opinion, man. Just not high on this guy anyway, but I'm just really not high on him over here on this side in the UFC up against these guys in this division, man. I just think they're too much for him for the most part, and we'll get him out of here inside the distance. He has to be properly matched up, and putting him in there with Charles Oliveira is not a proper matchup. You know what I'm talking about? I'll take Charles Oliveira via submission this time. He got him out of there via KO, TKO inside the distance with that fucking front kick, wasn't it, last time, wasn't it? Am I mistaken? Can't fucking remember, man. But, I can't fucking remember because I know Mike got Tony out of there with like a front kick too. There's been a bunch of front kick shit going on. I can't fucking remember, man. But give me Charles Oliveira, man. And get Mike out of there inside the distance via KO, TKO, or submission. You know what I'm talking about? And John Jones versus Stipe. It's John Jones, man. Oh yeah, Charles is minus 265. Michael's a plus 200. You know what I'm talking about? Charles is the pick. John's the pick, man. It is what it is. He's a minus 620. I don't like that shit, man. But he is very much so the pick to be the one to come in here and get this one done. And I honestly think he's going to get it done via submission. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot of playing around with Stipe Miocic. I think he's going to come in here and get Stipe Miocic out of here, you know, relatively quickly. Meaning he's going to get him down to that mat. And I know Stipe can wrestle, and he has some wrestling credentials, and he's nobody's chump stop. You know what I'm talking about? But John's going to get him down to the mat. And when John gets him down to the mat, John is going to, you know, put him in a compromisable position, search for that submission, find it, sink it in, lock it up, and get him out of there inside the distance relatively quickly, and then take that mic and give everybody what they want. The Tom Aspinall fight. This is why I don't believe he's going to exchange with Stipe for long at all, if at all. He doesn't want to take any damage, man. He wants to go in there, top tier, you know what I mean? Get on up out of there, top tier, and, you know, put everything that he has on the line with Tom. You know what I mean? John was not privy to some of these big payouts that some of these individuals have been paid out, you know, while John's been on the sidelines. Some of these new champions, some of these new contenders, you know what I mean? John never saw those millions and millions of dollar payouts and shit like that. And the payout he's going to get for fighting Stipe and the payout that he'll get for fighting Tom Aspinall, I believe very much so he wants to secure those payouts. And as much as nobody else might want to believe it, I think John Jones is going to give us that fight before he leaves. You know what I'm talking about? He's the pick over Stipe. For what it's worth, you know, UFC 309 going down in Madison Square Garden. We privy to all the money lines except for one, and that's Marcin versus Janata. A fight, you know, I highly suggest, you know, leave that motherfucker all the way alone. But it is what it is. Janata's the pick. Veronica's the pick over Eduarda, and David's the pick over Lucas. Oban's the pick over Basil, and Ramiz is the pick over Mickey. Jim is my first dog over Damon, and Marcus is even money over Jonathan. Ruffy's the biggest favorite over James, and it's Nikita over Azamat. Chris is my second dog over Eric. It's Bo over Paul, Karen over Vivian, Charles over Mike, and John over Stipe, man. You know what I'm talking about? And it is what it is, man. You know, got one dog, one slight dog, one even money pick'em, the rest favorites, and one to be determined as far as the money line is concerned. You know what I'm talking about? That's that with that. You know, wanted to tap in real quick and get that shit out the motherfucking way. All this unnecessary bullshit going on with all these other fights getting fucking canceled last minute. You know what I mean? Dolby and motherfucking Zaleski and fucking Miles and Cody and come on, man. This shit's just ridiculous. Fucked all my early bird parlays up, man. I'm just waiting to see what the fuck happens with UFC 309 because like I said, I already had about half a dozen or so early bird parlays in for this motherfucker as well, man. But that's that with that. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace and blessings.